Good morning, church. Today's date is June 14, 2022, and Open Heavens for today is titled Divine Provision. Our memory verse is taken from Proverbs chapter 4, verse 19, and it says, "The way of the wicked is as darkness. They know not at what they stumble." Our Bible reading is taken from Matthew chapter 14, verse 15 to 21, and it says, "And when it was evening, his disciples came to him, saying, This is a desert place, and the time is now past. Send the multitude away, that they may go into the villages and buy themselves victuals." But Jesus said unto them, They need not depart. Give ye them to eat. And they say unto him, We have here but 5 loaves and 2 fishes. He said, Bring them hither to me. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass, and took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes. And looking up to heaven, he blessed and brake, and gave the loaves to his disciples, and the disciples to the multitude. And they did all eat, and were filled. And they took up the fragment that remained, 12 baskets full. And they had eaten where about 5,000 men, beside men and women and children. Our message for today says, Many years ago, I was sitting in my living room when I noticed my children seemed to be having a meeting in another room. Before long, the youngest came to me and asked, Daddy, what would you like to have as a present? I told him I wanted a plane. He reported this to his siblings, and they sent him back to ask for what they could afford to buy. I told him, and he went back. His siblings sent him back to me again to ask for money to buy the present. They were asking me for the money to buy a gift for me. They weren't working at the time, and they depended on me for provision. Their intention to give me a gift was followed by the provision to bring it to reality. In our Bible reading today, disciples saw a need to feed the people who had gathered to hear the word of the Lord. Instead of going to Jesus to ask how they could accomplish the feeding, they wanted to send them away. They would have lost a great miracle that day. Jesus, on the other hand, knew that since he wanted to do the Lord's pleasure, then God would provide the means. At the end of the day, God made the provision in abundance. When you see something that you know is needed in the house of the Lord, when your desire to please the Lord with your service and sacrifice, don't let your pocket limit you. Go to him in prayers, stating your intentions. He knows that you depend on him for provision anyway, so he provides the means to enable you to do what you want for him. A man came to me some time ago asking me to pray for him because he desired to be amongst those who sponsor the next convention of RCCG. I prayed for him, and the next week he returned, complaining bitterly. I asked you to pray for me so that I could sponsor the convention instead of being promoted. I was sacked from my place of work. I laughed and said, Do you think you could sponsor the convention with your major salary? Don't worry. God just closed one door so that he can open a bigger one. Before long, he returned with enough money to sponsor a big part of the convention. Don't let the current state of your pocket limit what you can do for God. Carry that burden in your heart for the kingdom project to him, and he will make the provision available to you. Our prayer point for today says, think about that thing you would love to do for God. Now ask him to provide the resources to help you do it. May the Lord bless reading of his words. Amen.